We're live.
Indeed, we are.
All right. I guess we should just jump straight into the topic. So today we have a really fun one. I'm very excited for this. We have a Hunter villains tier list. Don't expect anything fancy. No visual tier list things. We're not we're not going that far. But we've all spent a little bit of time thinking about what our favorite villains are, where we'd rank them. We're not going to do like every kind of evil or antagonistic force in Hunter, just kind of like the standout ones. And I think we've come up with a pretty good list. And yeah, let's jump into it. What character do you guys want to start with?
Yeah, I guess we'll go with the first one, Phantom Troop.
All right, big one. Yeah, so we're kind of melding them into just one entity for the sake of the tier list.
Yeah, make it easier.
Yeah.
Oh,
Any immediate thoughts on the PT?
I think that they're a great set of antagonists. Just from the majority of characters, they were a great force in York New, and so far what we've seen in the Succession War, I think they can really be a settling force in the overall outcome of the Succession contest. I think they definitely have some influence over the Black Whale.
Okay. I like their kind of the group dynamic. Like they kind of seem to bicker with each other, like a bunch of like I don't know middle school friends or something. I think that's kind of endearing in a way, and I feel like if they weren't like that, then the Phantom Troop would be just like so freaking boring.
Right.
They'd just be like,
Cold
oh my gosh, they'd be
murderers.
insufferable.
Yeah.
I personally find that a lot of villains in media itself, they tend to be rather heartless. They just are cold toward everyone, and they don't really have any kind of emotional connections toward anybody. Not even people in their own group. They're just partners. They're just goons. Well, the Phantom Troop, through their story and how they've developed, are truly starting to become like some sort of family in a sense. They're comrades. I mean.
Yeah, comrades is a good word.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think overall is that they are multi-dimensional because each character, even though we may not have seen a lot of them or a lot of their psyche, I think we can infer how they're like based off of how they relate to other Phantom Troop characters.
Yeah, how they interact. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, this makes them multi-dimensional in a sense. Instead of them all having, let's say, one goal and all of them just, focusing on one thing, they have dynamics outside of that. And like what you said, Kogo, they interact, they bicker, they're human. They're even though they've committed countless atrocities and such, they're still somewhat human, regardless of their morals is questionable at best. I think they're still human, and I think they're great overall villains. I really enjoy them.
Yeah, and I mean they are like in most arcs also. It's funny how Togashi uses all of these villains in most of the arcs, right? Mm-hmm. Like Hisoka and then the Phantom Troop, of course. Well, I guess not most of them, but the Phantom Troop and Hisoka, the Zoldyx, I guess, in particular.
Right.
Illumi comes to mind.
Right.
He tends to use them like in many arcs. Yeah, it's interesting way of doing things. I don't know if that's in other media or other anime. I don't think that's common. Maybe
one
I'm
that
wrong.
Comes to mind is maybe the Akatsuki being like present in multiple arcs. Though my memory's really blurry on that, so don't quote me on that. But
they were like in Naruto, you mean, right?
Yeah, Naruto. Yeah.
Yeah, they were like background kind of thing. But the Phantom Troop, you see them like straight,
Right.
Yeah,
maybe
like
that's one thing that
the
makes
main
that
role
different.
in York New, and then in Greed Island, they were kind of like a side. There was a side plot. When they were hunting down the Exorcist, and then now in the Succession War, it's kind of like yeah, I guess a side plot, but more like a more important, or like a side plot with more gravity than the Greed Island one. So yeah, that kind of show up pretty often.
They were in the background, but they were always there. They always had a presence. I mean, like really relating back to how they were in Great Island, Hisoka was there to help find the Nen Exorcist, so that way he could fight Crollo. Which in that case led to him meeting up with Golden Kilo and Bisky to fight Razor in the dodgeball tournament. So it all relates back to each other in a sense that they're all interconnected. That's what I also really like about Togashi's writing. Nothing really seems arbitrary. Nothing really seems truly pointless. Everything has a purpose, whether it's like immediate, quick reaction or results of said action, or it's a long-term investment plan. For instance, how the Phantom Troop, ever since York New, were always in the background. I mean, even back in Heaven's Arena, Machi was there with Hisoka after his fight with Castro. She was like, okay, we're going to meet up on August 30th. So even from Heaven's Arena, they were always there. It just, in some places, they were more vibrant than others. So...
Gyro.
Okay, let's not move on too quickly.
That's enough with Gyro, my man. All right.
Yeah. Spoilers, we won't talk about Gyro because, I don't know, he's just kind of like a mentioned character.
I'll just say this.
Actually, not really. We have like kind of a backstory, but he doesn't have like a plot presence quite yet.
Yeah.
I have a fan theory real quick. Gyro is not actually a person, he's just a hood. Let's be honest here.
A what? A hood?
He's just a coat. He's not even a person.
He's just a jacket.
He's just an urban. He's just an urban.
Just the part where he's
urban myth Gyro.
Mm-hmm.
He's like a figment of the ants' imaginations when their brains got scrambled in their rebirth. Like he doesn't actually exist. Omega Lol. Actually, no. I'm pretty sure in the manga, Togashi specifically wrote that Gon and Gyro almost met. So yeah, he's not a figment of Met. Okay, okay.
Besides the point.
let's not go too off topic. We've got lots of characters to get through. So
a lot of groups,
a
lot of entities.
I was going to mention on the topic of the Phantom Troop having a presence in multiple arcs, like in multiple points of the story. There's been like a build from the very start. Kurapika mentioning that his goal is to kill them from the very start. And then the poser in the Heaven's Arena, it's kind of like...
the poser in Trick Tower.
Not Heaven's Arena, the Trick Tower. Yeah, you're right. I got the names mixed up, sorry.
Of course, no problem.
You kind of get like a sense that the Phantom Troop has like this like... larger than life reputation, like an influence on the underworld. So you get like the slow build up into them, and then we get introduced to Machi, and she's like this interesting, cool character who like blows off Hisoka, which is established as like this really crazy, awesome, evil yet likable character. Actually, I don't know if likable is the right word, but I don't know. I like him as a villain.
And Togashi delivers. I mean, they are larger than life characters.
Yeah. That's a good segue. They do feel larger than life, very enigmatic. Larger than life, specifically larger than society, because they just won't conform to society in any way.
Indeed.
I mean, they kind of participate in some ways. Like with the auction, dressing up for events sometimes.
But I mean, they were abandoned essentially by all societies. They are from Meteor City. Like, I mean, no one wanted them. They're like, at least the original members, they're all rejects. They're all rejected from society, even from birth. So, I mean, they weren't really even like Crollo, like he grew up in Meteor City. He was born in Meteor City. He was never really given a fair chance to properly enter society, if you know what I mean. Meteor City is not really a society. It's just a band of people to try to survive. It's a tribe.
Yeah, very mysterious. Yeah, that kind of brings us to Crollo, which is the main figurehead of the
yes,
Phantom Troop.
I was gonna want to.
I love he's just like a charismatic bad guy at the moment. Very mysterious. We don't know much about him. We can kind of infer like the outsider kind of character arc from him. But like besides from that, we don't really know much about him. So it's kind of hard to like grade him.
Yeah.
Apart from like what we've seen of him already, which is like, you know, the charismatic, strong, capable character, which, you know, I really like that character. I think Togashi is just a master of writing, you know, like the evil bad guy that has like super intrigue. You know, they can be simple, but they're so effective.
I think one thing he told in an interview was that he wants to write characters that are people that he looks up to, kind of thing. Or not like, not to say that he looks up to Crollo, but I mean in a way that he's he like Crollo has like some traits that he wants to like portray, or traits he thinks are admirable in a person, and he wants.
Yeah, I totally get what you mean.
Yeah, and so he's writing those traits in the character, and because he thinks those are admirable, I think it shows. You know? Like,
yeah. Oh, yeah, so I think you're totally right about that. That's a really good point.
Now that I think about it, right, if we go back to Hisoka's personality test for Nen, as we have said, Crollo is obviously very charismatic. I mean, he was able to band together the Phantom Troop, but he can be also very intimate. I mean, he was able to take on Hisoka in Heaven's Arena, manga spoiler. I don't know, would you say somewhat easily? I mean, obviously there would have to be some effort, but I mean, it didn't seem like he was in too much danger, I would say. Like, he could definitely handle himself in most fights.
For sure.
I think, it was less Crollo was easily able to take on Hisoka as it was Hisoka severely underestimated Crollo. I think that was the main flaw.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're on pretty equal footing.
Right. So I would say this. I mean, Hisoka's, evaluation of specialists, which they are independent and charismatic, fits Crollo almost perfectly. Well, which makes sense because Crollo is a specialist, after all. I mean, how else would you label Skill Hunter? I mean, maybe Conjuration?
Yeah, it's very much a specialist ability.
It's indeed.
The Conjuration aspect is, the book, but the stealing and using other people's abilities is specialist.
The actual power of it is a specialist quality.
Yeah.
So, okay, so the Phantom Troop, they deliver as like a great opposition for Kurapika. They're enigmatic. They're above society. Do you think that they deliver on those kind of themes effectively? Like, how effectively do you think they function in the story? Like this is basically finding the score from we're doing S, A, B, C, and F. So basically like a 1 to 5.
Like on a story level, you mean?
Yeah, on a story level. I guess let's just kind of figure out their rankings. I'll throw mine out, and I'll say a very high A, so a 4 out of 5, because I feel like we're only just scratching the surface with the Phantom Troop, even though they've got all these like great qualities just from like, just as like on a simple foundational level, they're really, really fun in the story.
Yeah.
But I feel like that for them to achieve that S rank, they need to have that depth.
Yeah.
Which I don't think we've gotten yet.
yeah, maybe we're just right there, almost there,
Yeah.
with the current arc. But yeah, that's a very good point. Actually,
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Let me just rephrase. I don't think a character requires depth for them to be S tier, but the Phantom Troop has like an implied depth almost, like with
true.
Crollo, his identity crisis, like the like the what the spider represents, the members in the spider, what
The legacy of Crollo,
what does them coming together like mean to them? There's kind of like that kind of area that we still need to explore in the story, and I feel like if that's not explored, they don't get an S tier from me. Like there's just that room.
Yeah,
but
right.
yeah, an A tier.
Okay, I definitely respect that. I kind of have to disagree with you a bit because I personally believe that they're the best antagonists in the series. Full on.
Okay.
I think they deserve S. I think that, yes, it would actually be rather interesting and great if we got, the relationship ideas that you just mentioned. However, I think the overall, like, mystery behind them, like, the larger-than-life influence that they have over society and over our characters, I think that having that kind of mystery behind them, that we can't really truly predict what they're going to do next. I think that could be rather interesting because they can, because of their unpredictability, they can essentially do whatever they want, just like what they're trying to do. I mean, they're essentially not really conforming to any rules except for Crollo's rules. They take what they want, they do what they want, and I think that through being able to be unpredictable, I think it can truly capture their true qualities. So personally, I think it's an S.
Absolutely agree.
So, yes,
I'm still sticking with the A. Sorry, you go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say, I completely agree with you. I think it would be really interesting to see what happens, like the relationships between different characters, like the specific reasons why they band together. However, I think the overall mystery provides more of a understanding. It makes more sense to me as of now. Maybe in the future, like if let's say there was like a final battle between Kurapika and Crollo, just as an example. If we learned it then it would be amazing. However, where we are now, they're like with the Mafia family's on the Black Whale, they're split up. It wouldn't really make a lot of sense, considering with everything else going on with Suridnik, Kurapika's group with like Wobble, all the other princes. I think it would just be too much right now. Like, too much information. I mean, it's...
Like exploring the depth.
Yeah,
like
I mean, the succession war is already known as being rather wordy. I mean, just look at Rihan's copy pasta of Predator.
Yeah, good lord.
So
that single manga page should be a villain on this tier list.
But yeah, that's my point. I think we should wait if we were going to get that. However, I will not be completely upset if we never get that.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't be upset either if we never got like the depth that I am saying is implied, which may not even be implied. But yeah, I just feel like there's a bit more room to explore like the Phantom Troop, and maybe that'd raise my score. But for now, it's an A plus from me, not an S. Gil, what do you think?
I'm going the fanboy route and just put an S. Because it's the Phantom Troop.
I'm just looking at a...
It sounds like the average is an S then.
If let's say S is 100, A is 90, if you say that's an A+, that would be on average like a 95. I mean, the average is like a 97.5 between...
I would say A, like a base A would be 75 if we're going by...
Okay.
Well, actually... an 80 if we're going by increments of 20.
Okay.
So an F would be 20, and then we just go up by 20s. And S plus would be like 100. Perfect. But let's just keep it to one, like the 5 scale score for now.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, moving on from a very enigmatic and
serious,
a group to fanboy over, like just an amazing
we have the
iconic group to the next most iconic character in Hunter x Hunter.
The meme god himself, Togashi's greatest creation, Tonpa.
Freaking Tompa. Okay. I
Immediate
freaking
S.
despise Tompa. I hate him, but you're meant to hate him.
Exactly.
So
You don't like the memes.
Okay, the memes are also rather funny. So we don't really get any backstory on him. Like, we get nothing.
Yeah, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say, he's a rather simple one-dimensional character. He does what he needs to do. He pisses off the other contestants. He's the rookie crusher, after all. He gives the famous Tompa juice. I think that you're supposed to hate him, like Gil said. I think that he achieves his goals well for the Hunter exam. And then the last time we see him is in the Great Island arc when Killua goes to get his Hunter license in the 288th Hunter exam. So I think that because of what he does in the story and how he accomplishes it, and overall just how much of a meme he is, I can't place him in F, even though I personally despise him, just like you, Koga.
Oh, like, yeah, in terms of like story function, like there's no way that you could give him like a below average score because he serves the purpose of the story so perfectly.
He does he gets the job done, yeah.
Yeah, he gets the job done.
He's the original.
He's
troll.
not like super charismatic. He doesn't have like that I don't know, the cool effect that the Phantom Troop has. But as like just like a force in the story, he functions perfectly. I think he has like an implied backstory of like he has like an implied spitefulness for people who succeed over him. He has like an inferiority complex, or like I don't know, a superiority
Probably
complex.
so, yeah.
He wants to feel superior, and that's why he will shit on any rookie he can. I think that's just really funny. Like it's implied that like he failed like the first exam or like the first couple of exams, and like he kept trying and he kept failing, and he like built up this resentment for people who would pass the exam, and that's why he wants to crush the rookies, which I think is
that deep into
I think that is just absolutely brilliant for like taking the Hunter exam and thinking, okay, what are the rules of the exam? And how can I like create a character like that's shaped by the exam? I think it's like absolutely brilliant that Togashi was able to create this character. And I think his characterization as well is just so like, I don't know, he's not like an over-the-top anime like evil villain. He's just like this average guy that's kind of spiteful and like kind of does it for fun, which is like, it's kind of nuanced in like a funny way. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like as I'm talking about him, I'm like propping him up way above where I initially placed him, which I was going to give him like an A-. I might give him like an S rank because he just like functions like, but it feels so wrong like putting him above the Phantom Troop because I love the iconic, you know, the Phantom Troop is so iconic and I love them for that. So I don't know, maybe on the same level as the Phantom Troop, they get an A+. He gets an A+.
That is the deepest character analysis I've ever heard on Tonpa the Rookie Crusher. I'm thoroughly impressed.
I love him. He's a great character.
Well,
oh my goodness.
Do you have any thoughts relating to him, Gil?
Yeah, he's something, all right. I mean, I don't have too much to say other than what Bailey said already about him. Like he's already pretty established, I guess. I don't know. I'm just running out of words here.
Not a lot to say.
You know what? I think I might give him an S rank. I think
don't you fucking dare.
He's so petty and just like dislikable that I think it's like artificially like lowering the rank like subconsciously, but just like in terms of like how he's written and like how he serves the story, just like I don't know. I guess the emotions do play a part. So, him changing to an S minus. I'll say an S minus, which is just so
my
funny to place
God.
him above the
Wow.
Phantom Troop. But yeah.
You are not doing this.
Oh my gosh.
No.
I can't believe I've talked myself into an S minus, but yeah, that's really funny.
All right.
Yeah,
I'll just say this. You somehow convinced me to go from a C to a B. I am not.
I
Wow,
wasn't
you're
giving
giving him a B.
No. Yeah, of course I am. I think he's a B.
I think he's a B.
can't.
Okay.
After how I've talked about the Phantom Troop and what I think of the other antagonists that we're going to be going through, there's no goddamn way that Tompa can match the likes of the Phantom Troop and some of the other antagonists later on. Like, come on, man. Come on.
He doesn't have any like rule of cool. He's just like a pathetic loser. So I completely understand like if you just don't like that character in a story.
No, I find him to be the original troll of Hunter x Hunter. And to be honest, he's
a
rather
troll.
funny. Yeah, exactly. He's a living troll. Which, like someone else we're going to be talking about later. Spoilers.
Yeah.
But besides the point, I was originally going to rank him an F. Then I was like, okay, he doesn't deserve it. Like, I mean, I might find him really fucking annoying, but at least, he does serve some purpose. And then I bumped it up to a C. Then I heard you go on this whole character analysis, and then I was like, you know what? I'm giving him a B. You know what? You were able to convince me. All right.
I feel like, he just like brings out so much in the main cast. Like he causes so much like conflict in the trap tower. He what else does he do? In the early stages, we kind of show the competency of the characters by like how they react to his juice. You see him like have an effect on other participants, like how he like crushes Nicholas. We kind of understand that that's how he functions. I don't know. I feel like he's just really great.
He does serve like many of the story functions in the first arc.
Yeah.
So he's a very good character, at least in the written
and
sense.
Like I feel like he would have been overbearing if like he was used too much in the Hunter exam, but like Togashi just uses the perfect amount of him in balance with the other villains that show up, like Gitaraka, like the mysteriousness of Gitaraka, like what the hell is that guy? And Illumi, and then Hisoka, he kind of shares the limelight with Hisoka. Tompa's kind of like the pathetic antagonist, and then Hisoka's like the super evil, terrifying
big
antagonist.
Man. He's a big man.
It balances out Tompa's hilarious. He's just like so pathetic that is funny, and you get that balance.
The main villain kind of thing.
Yeah, man, I'm really like thinking about like his role in the Hunter exam. It's kind of raising my opinion of the Hunter exam, just like exploring like how it's written and how he affects it. Yeah, wow, Tompa's a force to be reckoned with.
All right.
Okay.
Next.
Well, are we ready to move on?
I think we should. Can't believe you're giving him an
speaking
S.
of Hisoka, let's just jump onto Hisoka.
Of course.
Hisoka, the favorite? Not everyone's favorite.
No.
Yeah, a lot of people really despise him.
He's controversial, to say the least.
Yeah, controversial is a good word.
That's one. That's one.
Oh my gosh!
Good way to put it.
Yeah, extremely controversial. Probably dividing as well.
I think he's actually
amongst the younger audiences.
Oh my god! Yes,
because you see like I feel really weird saying this, but like kids getting horny over Hisoka and then kids being disgusted by Hisoka because he's a pedo. It's just like this crazy world right now that we're seeing on like TikTok. Like if you log on to Hunter x Hunter TikTok, oh my gosh, you're in for a wild ride.
No,
the effect on the fandom that this character has had. Oh my good lord.
I think what it is that I've also seen the discussion of whether he's truly a pedophile or not, because he's not. And also, this is I'll just say this. I think he's a great character. I think he's used very, very well. It's just how it's basically it's who you talk to on what they think. So it's based on one's own perspective and look of how he functions in the story. To one person, he is an amazing antagonist that essentially tries, that sometimes even helps Gon and Killua in their adventures, while in others, it's where Hisoka is just trying to manipulate them into doing something with him or whatever.
Yeah.
And so it's a very messy situation overall. And really, I sometimes feel uncomfortable stating my true opinions on him in fear of being bullied.
I think he's a great character.
They are pretty controversial themes.
Exactly. I mean, they're obviously more mature themes. I mean, you have exactly.
If you look at it like in a mature way, there shouldn't be a problem. If you're talking about him, like his pedophile tendency, which, to be honest, is it really pedophile?
I think
you could
that's a whole topic on its own. I feel like we should save that. That's really like a topic.
I will actually.
I'm using a Hisoka adjective.
Okay, I'll just say this to anybody that might be commenting under this, saying like, "Oh, I think Hisoka this." Everybody, chillax. Let's have a mature discussion about this in the comments. All right? We do not want to see. I think you're wrong because of this, and then proceed to harass them on 47 alternate accounts. We don't really want to see that. We just want to see a mature discussion, just like how this fan base is. All right, let's just do that. So
exactly. Like
keep it clean, guys.
All right,
I think
your nose clean.
Yeah,
and it's fine as long as everyone is comfortable. That's the whole point, I think.
I'll just say his pedophilia is shown as villainy, and that's all that's needed, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's not like I mean, it would totally be a different situation if Hisoka had these sexual attractions to, let's say, fighting and such, and he was like a friend of Gon and Killua's. I think it would be very, very different. My thoughts on him would be different.
Oh yeah,
but especially like how you say, "Oh, he's an antagonist." He's not their friend. I mean, I have to be careful how I word this. I'm just going to be honest with you. I think it's just
he's a trickster. His role changes in the story depending on what situation.
He's chaotic. He is.
Yeah.
He can sometimes be a villain. Sometimes he's an anti-hero. Sometimes he's usually one of those two. And I think it just depends.
Like his ability, like Bungee Gum, I feel like he is the most flexible character in the story when it comes to roles.
Yes.
Which, from like a writing perspective, his flexibility and just like the ability to put him into any situation and have him be the most entertaining character there is something to say. His just like, as like a writer, it's like incredible. Like this character is just awesome. Like he's so simple yet so effective, and that's just like, oh my gosh.
I do have a question for you.
Okay, shoot.
Did you know that Bungee Gum has the properties of both rubber and gum?
Oh, shut up! Oh my gosh!
I had to do it. We got him.
Oh my gosh! Koga.
You did it. You did it, man.
We could be. All right.
That's like the D's nuts of the Hunter.
It is the D's nuts.
Is Hisoka like one of the only types like him that there is. Like
I'd
I
say
don't think.
Pariston is close.
Yeah,
We'll talk about
I don't
Pariston
know.
later, actually, because we're going to be talking about him.
Yep.
So we'll save that for later.
But in like media in general, like
Oh, okay.
In media.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's.
I wouldn't be able to think of anything.
I think it's
he is
also
pretty unique.
if I'm gonna let's say think of movies and TV shows. At least here in the United States, a lot of things are in Hollywood, for example. I mean, unless it's like a dramatic retelling, like a truth story or whatever, like a coming of age story or whatever. I think writing about someone that sexualizes children in the way that he does, or in most other ways, I think that is a way to actually lose money, whether it's through bad press or just the movie not being watched, as an example.
Right.
So I think if you look at it like a business aspect, unless it's like a coming of age story, which can be, inspirational in a sense, I think that overall just having a character that sexualizes children, I think is just, that's a rather risky move. So I don't think a lot of people would be willing to do it. However, if it's, let's just say, a passion project, then, I mean, most other pieces of media, they don't really involve, two 12-year-olds leaving their families or whatever, going on an adventure around the world, fighting full-on adults and masters in their craft.
A pedophile clown.
For the last time, if I see any comments that say, oh yeah, Hisoka is a clown, stop. He's a magician. Number 44, Hisoka the magician.
Respect.
He has never been a clown.
Respect the magician.
Alright? He is a clown because he's usually the butt of many people's jokes. That does not mean he is a legitimate clown, though. Alright? Yes, I get it.
Okay.
He has a clown aesthetic. Big pink hair, woo, the tattoos, woo. He is a magician, though. I swear on my life.
Okay, I think we've been going on for a long time about Hisoka. I think there's not much to say about him. He's super fun to watch. He's an evil bastard. He's got a really great presence in the story. He's really flexible.
He's
for
got
all
some
of those
great
reasons.
moments.
Yeah, he's got great moments. True.
Yeah.
Yeah. For all those reasons, I'm giving him an S tier. He's just simply an amazing character.
I have to agree.
I have
That's
to
all there is
agree.
to it.
Yes, it is.
I said earlier that when I was explaining the Phantom Troop, they had an implied depth that hasn't really been explored, and that's why I'm like lowering their rank. And I said that a character doesn't necessarily need to be deep to be good, and Hisoka is just the perfect example of that. He's just simply amazing. Anyway, moving on to
Illumi Zoldyck.
Yeah, the counterpart to Hisoka in some ways. Some would even call them lovers.
Gay lovers.
in fan fiction.
Alright, let's not go into fan fiction now. That's a whole other topic.
Okay, Illumi, I'm just gonna say it like off the bat. I'm not like a huge fan of this character.
I understand.
His frightening, I guess. He's also very weird in kind of like a confusing way. Like his fixation on his younger brother isn't really like explored. Like you don't really come to understand it as a viewer, which maybe I missed something, but I just don't really get it.
So okay, can I have?
And I feel hold on.
Yeah,
I'll just keep going and then I'll let you talk.
Sorry.
And I feel like because of that, like all of his actions moving forward have much less gravity because you don't really understand why he does it. You just know that he does and that it's kind of creepy. And yeah, for that, he just doesn't hit as strongly for me as someone like Hisoka. Anyway, Go ahead, Pika.
That he doesn't have any underlying or like deeper motive, right?
Right.
Or like
from
his personality, like.
Well, the motive is, his fixation on
Yeah,
his brother
that's
and
the
like turning him
motive,
into a
right?
killer.
Yeah, it's not
But yeah, you
something.
just don't really understand it.
Yeah, it's not something that came from his childhood. Like, we don't understand that. Like, why is he that power hungry? Like,
Yeah.
it's not well explained. Yeah, I get what you mean.
So
Yeah. I think it might be there's some implied like need for control because he's a manipulator that controls other people.
Yeah.
He's power hungry. He wants to control Aluka's power. He wants to control his brother's destiny, maybe because he didn't have control over his own. So maybe there's like some implications of that, but I guess that would like increase his ranking because I can kind of start to see, okay, this character starts to make sense now. But it's not explicit enough in the story for me to say, yes, that I really feel this as a viewer. I really understand this character. But yeah. Anyway, go on, Pika. Sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say that that relating back to the election arc, we have more of a sense of like his power hungry side of going to, now that he has an additional reason why to control his brother. Killua gets exceptional treatment from Aluka and Nanika if he can somewhat control Killua like he used to before he pulled out the needle in Chimera, then he can potentially use this for his own purposes, or more likely for the own purposes of his family. That, or to just have Aluka locked back in the basement. I think Illumi. Overall, Illumi's a very mysterious character. I think that is potential that he also, from what we know, Kiko is also a very unstable mother. I mean, she's very obsessive towards her children, especially
Crazy
Killua.
bitch.
That's one very good way of putting it. But what it is that it's undeniable that she loves her children, but she loves them to the point where it's essentially smothering them. And so I think what it could be is that, I mean, this is why Subone doesn't like Illumi, and why she also doesn't like Miluki. They have an obsession, or like an unhealthy obsession with family. I mean, of course, there has to be loyalty, especially in the Zoldyck business, but I mean, to the point where you have to be directly manipulating one's free will in order to get what you want. I think that's rather excessive. I think that bringing Killua back home, let's say in the Hunter exam, he infiltrated the Hunter exam. He also said, like, oh yeah, I just need it for a job, whatever. He doesn't need it, really. But the point is, he has an unhealthy obsession with Killua. He always has. It could just be that he's been influenced by his father, because both he and Silva raised Killua to be the way he was before he grew some humanity in him. I think overall that Illumi is a good character. I think he's a great antagonist, especially in the election arc, and with how he actually relates to Hisoka. How, let's say, now that he and his brother Kaluto are now in the Phantom Troop hunting him down, I think it could be very interesting what could happen. Like, what if, it's also,
Illumi is very simple and easy to understand,
right,
in that way. Like,
I mean, he's also supposed to come off weird, because you've heard Killua say, like, I don't want to become like Illumi. It could be, now just hear me out, it could be that Illumi is actually what happens if a child goes, like, perfectly through Zoldyck and, like, initiation. Like, when they trained when they were younger, this is exactly what happens to them. Like, that's, like, the role model child. Like, Miluki, obviously, he's soft and he just sits on his ass all day, playing video games, looking at anime. Killua broke off at the age of 11 years old. Kaluto is now really just stuck to his mother, essentially, because his mother essentially smothers him. Aluka got locked in the basement unfairly because Nanika decided to have her as a host. So really,
here's an idea.
Illumi is only the best example of what happens through Zoldyck training.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, what if Illumi has some sort of inferiority complex with Killua?
Because think about it, right?
Yeah, it could be. Because Killua has more potential, apparently.
Killua has more potential, right?
Killua doesn't even want the family business. He doesn't even want to become the head. Illumi would probably, because of his power-hungry side and his devotion to his family, he would probably love to be the head of the Zoldyck family, the patriarch. But then his little brother, who's just has all this extra potential than him, who basically has everything given to him because he's the gifted child, he's the golden child. I think he'd also grow a little bit of resentment. I mean, that's what I would imagine, at least. Like,
maybe, yeah. It's not really shown in like there's no real resentment shown, but
it's possible.
It could be part of his psychology. It's definitely possible. Pretty interesting.
Should we rank him?
I would rank Illumi low B for now. I think if we kind of explored a bit more of that, what I was talking about earlier, like some kind of way to understand Illumi, I think would make him a much more interesting character. But like it's kind of a little too little too late, kind of. He's been in so many arcs and he just hasn't been fleshed out enough that, like, at this point he's just kind of like a low B tier character for me.
That's understandable. Right. I mean, I know people who stan him, I know people who despise him. So I think that's fair.
Yeah, you explained it well. He's not that particularly like special or even like how you say this word. I'm not getting the word.
Charismatic, maybe. Fleshed out.
More like. Well, whatever. It's fine, but like, he's not that special in the end, and we don't get too much into his character to explain why he's doing those things. So that's why the score, I think. So I'm going to give him a B. I think.
I personally find that through his maybe not him directly, like his his personal personality. That sounds stupid. His personality may not be the best. I'll agree. That's why if he really had the best personality, he would be an S. However, I think his actual influence in the series and how he actually influences the characters and events, I think are rather important. He's influenced it since the beginning of the series. The Hunter exam, not really Heaven's Arena, really. He influenced Yorknu by, let's say, pretending to be Hisoka with the Phantom Troop and the church, right? Greed Island, not really. Chimera, he was obviously absent. Election, I mean, he was the main antagonist of the election arc. I mean, from the Killua and Aluka plot line, he was like the main villain. He was the main antagonist. And then the Succession War, depending on your perspective, he's part of the band of antagonists, the Phantom Troop. So I think not directly, but indirectly, his own influence has caused him to give me an A. I personally think he's an A tier antagonist. Disagree with me with all you want. I just think that just the amount of influence.
Influence is a good word, yeah.
Yeah, just how he has shaped the Hunter x Hunter universe. How, whether it's the environment or the characters or whatever, he has a role with everything. I mean, you can just say he had an influence on Chimera because he pulled out. Until then, Killua had his needle stuck in his head, which manipulated him.
Yeah.
But then Killua figured this out, broke away, and now he's his own independent man. So
he's far from a failure of a character. That's for sure.
No.
He just could be more well realized, in my opinion. He has a fun relationship with Hisoka. I think he represents an interesting theme with tiger parenting and how it affects children and stuff like that. There's definitely interest to be drawn out of him. I feel like he's still a good character, just not amazing.
I need
okay.
a quick bathroom break, but we'll get back to the next one after this one.
Gil's just going to go on a bathroom break. So, I don't know. Maybe we should... I don't know. Let's do like an easy character while we wait for him. And then when he gets back, we can just get like an instant answer out of him. Like,
all right.
1, 2, 3, go. Your emotional score for the Heaven's Arena
level 200
antagonists.
Level floor 200.
Yeah, the level 2.
Guido.
Yeah.
Rehavel? That's how you pronounce it, right?
Rehavel, I'm pretty sure.
Sadasso. Sadisney's nut. Sadie's nuts, whatever you want to call it.
Shut up. Okay. Gut reaction. What's your rank?
F. Actually, no.
F.
Yeah, they're F. Terrible. Awful.
They're kind of pathetic. They're not. They don't have anything like charismatic going on about them. They're not. They're definitely not specialists, to say the least. They're kind of goofy. Like the wheelchair ability is. I mean, it's interesting to have like a wheelchair ability, but like it's like a rocket wheelchair, and it's like just so dumb. It's like such an awful use of Nen, which I think might be the point.
Yeah.
You know, in the Heaven's Arena, we get a lot of characters that are kind of like awful with Nen. Like Castro, even though he had like major potential, he misused his Nen. We have kind of some examples of that. But yeah, they're just like nothing special really. They don't leave much of an emotional impact. They're really petty characters. But I'd still say they're effective for the story that it's trying to tell. Togashi's trying to tell. So, you know, my gut reaction is like, like their impression is like a C tier, but my rank is probably like a B, like a B minus or something.
Okay. I just
underwhelming but effective.
I mean, let's be honest. Even Gon can probably run faster than the wheelchair guy without Nen. He could, if the guy with the wheelchair was using like his aura boost, while Gon was just running like his regular speed without Nen influence, I think Gon would be faster. Mm-hmm. So I just think
the characters
are painfully one-dimensional. They're especially even when I was watching it for the first time or reading it for the first time, when I saw like their abilities, I was like, "What the hell is this?" Because I mean,
kind of predictable as well, right?
Okay, so let's just go through quickly the tops that Guido has. I mean, that just gives me flashbacks of Beyblade. Like, I mean, the tops themselves are not even made of like super alloy, which is what Kilo's yo-yos are made of. They're just like made out of normal metal. And for someone who knows 10, they can be rather, just deflected with not a lot of damage. I mean, 10 is it's one of the 4 exercises. I mean, it's not compared to other things. It's not really that hard to learn. Like, come on now, all right? Because if he actually wanted to, give a lot of power, he probably should just do something else. I mean, using tops, that doesn't maybe it signifies how he only has one like metal cane, like it's just his disability as well. I mean, like having one metal leg that has a round spot at the end. I mean, that just leaves you totally exposed. Like at that point, it's just I don't even know. It's just, what the hell is this? And then the wheelchair, the aura boost, is just the stupidest thing ever, especially in a Heaven's Arena fight, considering that it's a boxed-in area. It's not even that large of a space. And with how large that thing was, I didn't surprise he just didn't fall out of his fucking wheelchair. Alright, and then the guy with the bubble, I was like, he captured Zushi, whoop-de-doo, it's Zushi. He's not, the last mission Zushi. No, he's regular Zushi. Alright? 450, let's go. Wow, you can do that on someone who knows only the 4 exercises. Or not the 4 exercises. He knows like 3 of them. He doesn't even know Hatsu. So come on now. I mean, he the only time we saw it was when he was doing it like on an 8 to 10 year old child who only knew 10 Zetsu and Ren. come on. I mean, he got
Yeah,
scared shitless by Killua because Killua's Ultra Chat obviously, and what it is he after that he got scared shitless. He packed his bags, went on a train, and then just pissed off from the series. All right, they didn't do anything. They didn't really. I mean, maybe like in the moment, like they could be formidable opponents, but I mean.
Their
Hisoka was
main
there.
purpose
Hisoka,
was like just
big man himself,
giving-
Hisoka, was there. All right, for going to fight. So I mean, those guys just get completely overshadowed by Hisoka entirely, in my opinion. And overall,
which is a good thing, in my opinion.
Oh God, yes.
If you have loser characters to compare to your main antagonist, then that's one way of making the main antagonist feel bigger. Yeah, but they're just so like painfully like barely average that it's like they just can't be anything better than like a B- for me.
They're not
like that's
like
like the
Tomba,
maximum
right?
I can afford to give them.
I give them an
They're
F.
not like Tomba, right? Who fits in well in all of these situations, but they're just these characters that are in one battle or two battles or whatever. Like, yeah, those are good points.
Yeah, they serve a purpose, but like they just make the mark for me. So yeah, they just get into B tier. I feel like for a character to go under B, they have to have like a major flaw in their writing, and for a character to go F, it's just like, emotionally, I don't like the character at all. Like they're pitiful, they're just really bad, and I hate them, and they're so poorly written that like they're completely not understandable. Or just
Now
a failure of a character.
I was gonna give
That's
them
when
a
I would give
B
an F.
in the beginning, but now that I listened to you guys' opinions, I mean, it makes sense, and I would even give them a C, to be honest. And I'm gonna
C
give them a
is very
C.
fair.
Because, I mean, yeah, they're not that interesting of characters in the end, right? I think it might be difficult in a tournament arc kind of thing to make super interesting characters, but yeah, they weren't really that interesting. So I think it's C.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so we kind of jumped ahead for like a simpler character while Gil was gone. But we'll come back to a one that requires a bit more of a group discussion, which is the Zoldyck family. We've kind of grouped them in to a single entity, kind of like the Phantom Troop. But yeah, the Zoldyck family, I'll say I love them. I absolutely love them. I think the Zoldyck family arc is underrated, understandably. I feel like there's a lot of potential in the Zoldyck family that wasn't explored in the arc. But I feel like they kind of, as like characters, I feel like they're just absolutely fantastic. Such a great inclusion for, like understanding Killua's
family
emotional plight. Having like really interesting characters to populate the universe of Hunter.
True.
Very, very diverse. It would be so easy to kind of fall into, like a bunch of ninjas or something, like a bunch of samey characters as one family, but they're all so distinct and so interesting.
Spinning top ninjas.
I feel like Hanzo, there's a reason why we haven't gotten much of his backstory and is kind of like a joke character. I do like Hanzo a lot, by the way. Hanzo, Zoldyck family. Immediately, I gotta say, like, I feel like there's a bit more to explore with them, and I feel like some characters I still have to understand, like Illumi and Silver. I feel like is a bit like, what's going on with Silver? Like, why? I don't completely understand his actions, like, and his motivations for like letting Killua go, and that kind of thing. And then being like all evil about it after, whilst being like very genuine seeming. And front facing to Killua. Like, I didn't really understand what was going on there.
I don't know.
But like overall,
I don't know if that's
like,
because we haven't seen enough of him, or
yeah, probably.
I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to say at this point since we don't have the full story, of course, and we're judging, of course, basing on what we have. But yeah, I mean, if we're judging based on what we have so far, he's weird, right? Like you said.
Yeah, strong, charismatic, but his kind of there's still a bit of mystery about like what motivates him.
Yeah.
So for that, I don't know. For I have really high praises about the Zoldyck family. Whenever they appear, like any of the characters, I feel really excited to see what they're going to do.
True.
And for like, you know, Illumi, that not understanding him and Silver, it kind of brings it down from an S rank for me, but they get an A+ for me. Like they're all round really, really great.
And the butlers
and lots of potential.
And all of the systems that they have like around.
Yep.
All of that is a very interesting dynamic that is created there. Like,
yeah, you can really feel their oppression on Killua, like as like a force, which I think is really great. I think the themes of like different parenting styles is really, really strong. I really love how interesting that is.
Yeah.
With, you know, like the tiger parenting for Illumi and Killua. So Illumi is like tiger parenting, I'm pretty sure, like a successful child. Maluki was like, okay, we tiger parented Illumi way too much, so let's back off completely and be like super lax. And then you get Maluki, it's like the opposite end. Killua was like the perfect center, where it's like, okay, like a mix of like the tiger parenting and like having some relaxed parenting. You know, they get like the perfect specimen, which is Killua. You have like neglect, which is Aluka. And then you have, I'm not quite sure how to like, what the terminology would be or how to like classify Kaluto, but like it's like forcing like a lifestyle onto a child, you know, like not allowing them to flourish themselves. Although I feel like we're probably going to get more of that as they've broken away from their family and joined the Phantom Troop. They're kind of starting to find their own self, but you get like the sense that Kikyo has kind of pushed those traits onto Kaluto from a young age. But yeah, really, really interesting thematically.
I really hope that we're going to get more into the Zoldyck family because they're so interesting. For sure. Yeah. And there's a good moment here now that Killua is on the run from his family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure Togashi's considering, you know, in his humongous long absence, he's considering how to wrap up the Zoldyck family. I have a feeling he might like cut it short and leave it open for the readers and kind of focus on what he's got already.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'd really hope to see more. And it seems like Kurapika is not here at the moment, our co-host.
Yeah.
So we might have to cut the list short.
Oh,
which
I
is,
died.
You know,
I just
we're
died.
about.
I was just listening to you guys.
Died?
I think you guys got most of my points already. I think you guys did a great job explaining it. I mean, it would just be repeating and just adding unnecessary watch time to our beautiful, beautiful viewers out there.
Yeah, we're at an hour now. Do you guys want to do like a part 2 for this?
Yeah.
Or do you want to kind of...
That sounds good.
Because, I mean, we still have
we'll finish up here.
Left.
Yeah, we still pretty much have half. And we spent a lot of time on the Phantom Troop. We spent like 20 minutes. So I mean, we'll probably get through the second half faster.
It deserves it, I mean, but it's all right.
Yeah, I think it does.
2 parts is good. And we did... I think it's a good episode.
Yeah, I loved that. That was super fun.
Yeah, that was...
all right. We're going to wrap up. Tell us what you think about all the characters we've mentioned thus far. Make your own tier list and post it in the comments for the characters that we've mentioned. And yeah, I think that's a good spot to finish up.
I forgot to mention this.
All right, see you, everyone. Oh,
Goodbye.
yeah, go ahead.
My final ranking for the Zoldyck family is A tier.
Oh, thank you.
Of course,
Thank you.
of course.
Awesome. All right, cool.
All right. Have a good one,
All right,
everyone.
bye, everyone.